Commander Lane stared at the signal screen. Carrick's voice was real, calm, focused. It echoed inside her ship like a whisper across space. "You're close. The gate is waiting, but only those who let go of fear can cross." No one spoke for a moment. Then Lane turned to her crew. "We find that gate, no matter what it takes." They were traveling in a small science vessel with stolen human tech. The jump drive was risky, old, half-working, but they had no choice. The silent armada was growing closer every day. They jumped. The stars bent. Space twisted. The ship trembled like it was being pulled apart. Then silence. Outside the window, they saw it. The gate of light. It floated in a black void, a perfect ring, shining softly like a dream. Not metal, not stone. Something else. Something alive. Lines of glowing patterns moved across its surface, like it was reading them. Lan whispered, "Is this what the humans built?" Dr. Wren, her lead scientist, nodded. "Or what they became." Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered. A voice filled the room, not from speakers, but from inside their minds. "You have come seeking the path. Only those who accept change may enter. Leave behind fear. Leave behind hate, or be left behind forever." The crew was silent. Then the gate opened. It didn't move physically. It just changed. A soft hole appeared in its center, like a tear in reality. Lan's ship drifted forward. One of the engineers panicked. "We shouldn't go. We don't know what's inside." Lane looked at him. "Out there," she said, pointing to the stars, "everything is dying. The armada will reach the inner systems in days. We stay, we die, we go forward. Maybe we survive." The ship entered the gate. What they saw next made everyone fall silent. They were no longer in space. They were in a field of light, colors that didn't exist, shapes that changed with every thought. A world where physics bent around emotion. Time felt slower, or maybe faster. It was impossible to tell. And then, the humans appeared. Not as flesh, not as machines, but beings of pure energy. Their eyes glowed with peace, not power. One of them floated closer to Lane. She recognized the face. "Carrick?" she asked. The figure smiled. "Yes, or what I have become. I passed through the gate. I changed. And now, you can too." "But how?" Lane whispered. Carrick reached out. "You don't need weapons or machines. You need understanding. The humans didn't escape the galaxy. They grew beyond it. Now, you must do the same." The rest of the crew stood frozen, scared, awed. Dr. Wren stepped forward. "What about the armada? Can it be stopped?" Carrick's voice grew quiet. "No, the silent armada is not evil. It is a force, a balance. It comes when a galaxy loses its way, when hate grows stronger than unity, when war becomes endless, it wipes clean. So life can begin again." Lan's heart sank. "Then it's too late for us." Carrick shook his head. "No, it's too late to save the old galaxy, but not too late to build a new one." Behind him, more gates opened. Thousands. From each one, beings stepped forward. Not just humans, but others. Vorn, Voxari, even old enemies. Those who had chosen to change. Carrick raised his hand. "This is your chance. Cross the gate. Leave behind fear. Become something better." Lane looked at her crew. Some were scared. Others were crying. But one by one, they stepped forward. And as they passed through the light, they began to change. Not dying, not vanishing, evolving. Lan was the last to walk forward. As the light touched her, she felt everything. Pain, joy, sorrow, hope, all at once. Then, peace. Behind them, the armada kept moving. Planets disappeared. Stars fell silent. But the gate stayed open, for those still willing to choose. And in a place beyond space, a new kind of galaxy began to grow. The galaxy was no longer the same. Where once bright stars burned and great empires ruled, now there was only silence and shadows. The silent armada had passed through. Planets were gone. Civilizations erased. The Galactic Council, broken, scattered. Most of its members either destroyed or missing. The old galaxy was dead, and it all started with one mistake. They ignored humanity. They laughed when humans warned them. They refused to listen when Earth shared its fears. They saw humans as young, weak, emotional. But humans had seen something the others had not. Something terrible. Something coming. And when no one listened, humanity left. They did not run. Deep in the far edge of the galaxy, where stars grew cold and space stretched thin, something was coming. No one saw it arrive. No engine trails. No signals. No life signs. Just shadows. Thousands of dark shapes moved slowly through the void. Blacker than space, they reflected no light. They made no sound. They didn't respond to scans or messages. They were not ships. They were something else. The first to see them was a small mining vessel near the dead planet Koros 9. The crew, bored and tired, thought their sensors were broken. "Sir," said the technician, "I think the stars are disappearing." The captain laughed until he looked out the window. One by one, stars were vanishing behind a great black curtain. Then came the last log from the ship. "Something is out here. It's not coming toward us. It's just passing by. But space around it is bending. Time is slowing. I think it saw us. No, not saw. Felt us. Static. Then silence." Back at the council, panic reached new levels. System after system went dark. Ships sent to investigate never returned. Whole planets lost in hours. No battles. No explosions. Just disappearance. A quiet death. They called it the Silent Armada. It didn't attack. It didn't speak. It simply moved. And everything behind it was gone. Not destroyed. Erased. Ambassador Sully called another emergency session. "We can't fight this. You've seen the reports. Even black holes bend around these things." Chancellor Avec was pale. "What do they want? Why don't they talk?" "They don't need to," said Archivist Gila. "Humans try to tell us. The others, the Silent Armada, they are not alive the way we understand. They don't want peace or war. They're more like a rule of nature, like gravity." "No," Gila said, "like a reset button, a system cleaning itself." The room was quiet. That night, rebel factions within the council broke away. They launched stolen ships toward the human border, desperate to find any remaining technology. One group reached the edge of the dead Sol system. They sent drones toward the center. Nothing returned. But one drone sent back a final image before it vanished. A massive ring, glowing faint blue. The same structure Karek saw. Inside the ring, for just one moment, they saw something impossible. A city, floating in nothing, filled with light and humans. But they were changed. No longer flesh. Beings of energy and form, moving like thought, glowing with power. And behind them, a wall of pure light, holding back something massive. Then the image ended. The rebels called it the last barrier. They believed the humans had built it to protect whatever was left of reality from the Silent Armada. Meanwhile, back in the heart of the galaxy, chaos spread. Old enemies started blaming each other. Civil wars broke out. Trade routes collapsed. The council was powerless. But one young commander, Lan of the Voxari, took a different path. She gathered survivors, scientists, engineers, refugees. She said, "The council has failed, but we still have a choice. We can run, or we can evolve." Her team began searching old human research logs, looking for ways to activate the Ascension Protocol. Every night, more stars went dark. The Armada was getting closer. Lane sent a message across the galaxy. If you hear this, stop fighting. The old galaxy is dying. But maybe, just maybe, humanity left a door open for the rest of us. Find it, before there's nothing left. And in a hidden lab, far from any star, her team unlocked something. A signal, not from the Armada, not from the humans, but from Carrick. He was alive, or something close to it. His voice came through the speakers, calm, clear, no fear in his words. You're close. The gate is waiting, but only those who let go of fear can cross. The galaxy believed humans were weak, emotional, reckless, unpredictable. For centuries, they were treated as second-class members of the Galactic Council. Some species traded with them. Others avoided them, but no one feared them. That was a mistake. After the disappearance of Earth and the recon fleet, Carrick was given special access to the Council's secret archives, files about humans that had never been shared with the public. What he found shocked him. For the last 100 years, humans had changed, not in body, but in mind, in thought, in purpose. It began quietly, after the Shane year, when Earth was denied aid during the plague of red skies. Humans stopped asking for help. Instead, they turned inward. They started researching technologies no other species dared touch: quantum thought patterns, neural space computing, gravity memory, and time layering. They built something called Project Ascension. Most in the galaxy believed it was just another failed experiment, a rumor, a myth. But the data Carrick found was real. The project's goal was simple: to break the limits of physical space, to evolve beyond the third dimension, to take all of humanity into a higher plane of existence. The files were full of strange notes. One read: "The galaxy is asleep. We are awake. Emotion is not our weakness. It is our energy, our anchor, our weapon." Carrick couldn't believe what he was reading. Humans had found a way to use emotion to power machines, to bend reality. Rage, love, fear, they turned these into fuel, into code. No wonder they acted so strange in their final years, Carrick whispered. They weren't just building ships, they were building escape. But there was more. Video logs from the human colony showed people meditating inside glowing chambers, children drawing impossible shapes in the air, cities filled with silence, but vibrating with power. In one video, a scientist spoke to the camera. "We thought we were flesh, but we are pattern, frequency, thought. Let them laugh. Let them ignore the warnings. When the sky falls, we'll already be gone." Carrick's hands shook as he watched. These weren't mad people. They were ready. At the same time, strange things began happening across the galaxy. Machines built using human tech began to glitch. Artificial intelligences went silent. Space around old human colonies twisted. Ships that passed nearby reported strange dreams, lost time, or hearing voices. On one council research station, a lead scientist studying human emotion drive technology suddenly vanished. Security footage showed her staring into a screen. Then her body simply faded, pixel by pixel, until nothing was left. The last word she spoke was, "They see us." Carrick knew the truth now. Humans had not disappeared. They had evolved. They had changed their form, their way of being, left behind the limits of flesh and atoms. They didn't run from the galaxy. They moved beyond it. But why? Why would they leave everything behind? Then Carrick remembered the metal plate, the whisper inside the first message. "They are coming." Suddenly, it made sense. The humans weren't escaping the galaxy. They were escaping something inside it. Something ancient. Something they saw before anyone else. Carrick returned to the council chamber, filled with urgency. "You have to listen," he begged. The humans knew. They tried to warn us. They didn't just leave. They moved to a higher state of being to survive what's coming. The room laughed again. Chancellor Avec shook his head. We will not chase ghost stories and myths. We have real threats to deal with. Pirates, civil wars, trade collapse. Carrick shouted, You fools. The real threat isn't war or politics. It's something bigger, something we can't even name yet. But no one listened. So Carrick left. He took a shuttle and followed the last human transmission. Coordinates deep beyond known space. What he found was not a planet, not a star. It was a structure, a ring of light, floating in nothing, not made of metal, but thought. It responded to emotion. Carrick cried as he approached it, not from fear, but awe. The ring opened, and inside was something else. A voice filled his ship. It was calm, familiar, human. You came. You were not meant to. But now you must choose. Stay and face what's coming. Or evolve. Carrick reached out, and the ship vanished. The stars above Earth were quiet, but one message broke the silence. It was a weak signal, barely reaching human space. A desperate voice spoke through static. Please, help us. They're dying. Millions of us. The voice came from the planet Zarnak, home to the Terrene species, an ancient race that once ruled 3 star systems. Now their skies were dark, their oceans poisoned, and cities falling apart. No one else answered their call. Only humans did. Captain Aria Lynn stood inside the bridge of the Hopebringer, one of Earth's newest aid ships. Her crew had received the message first. She looked at her second in command. They're 30 light years deep into border space, Aria said. It could be a trap. Maybe, said Lieutenant Callan. But if it's real, they need us. Aria nodded. Earth didn't ignore suffering. Not yet. Within hours, a fleet of human aid ships moved out. Medical crews, engineers, water-purifying drones, food carriers, all ready to help. The Galactic Union, made up of over 70 alien species, watched in silence. Some offered words, few offered help. As the Hopebringer entered Zarnak's orbit, the crew saw the damage. The forests were gray. Rivers were black. A great city lay in ruins, smoke rising from shattered towers. The team landed near the largest settlement. As the ramp lowered, a group of thin, tired Terrenes stepped forward. One small child walked ahead of them, his eyes wide. Are you the ones who came before? He asked. Captain Aria knelt. We're here to help. The child shook his head. The others said that too, before they took everything. Her heart skipped. What do you mean? But the child said nothing more. He just pointed at the ruins. The human teams worked fast. They cleared water, treated disease, rebuilt shelters. The Terrene leaders came to thank them. You are generous, said High Speaker Valthric, but you must understand. Many here fear you. Aria raised an eyebrow. Why? Because you fix what others cannot, he replied. And when someone becomes too powerful, others grow jealous. Back on Earth, news of the rescue mission spread. Videos of happy alien children eating human food went viral. People called it the Great Mercy. But in the shadows of the Galactic Union, quiet voices stirred. They act like saviors, whispered one diplomat. They're spreading too fast, said another. If they keep this up, we'll all bow to them. Some alien races met in secret. The Draxari, known for their pride. The Vulnari, rich but cruel. And the Suvraks, who once ruled the stars before humans arrived. They share technology, said the Draxari general. Medicine, energy, agriculture. Do you know what that makes them? Dangerous, the others said. But humans kept helping. 1 month passed. Then 2. Zarnak began to bloom again. Forests grew back. The skies cleared. A school opened for children, run by both humans and Terrene. Then, one day, a bomb exploded. It happened inside the school. 5 human teachers were killed. 20 Terran children died. The scene was silent. No one claimed responsibility. But a human drone captured footage of an unknown alien leaving the area moments before the blast. Captain Area called the Galactic Union for answers. No one responded. That night, a message came through a hidden channel. It was from a retired alien ambassador who once worked with humans. His voice was shaky. "You don't understand," he said. "They don't want your help. They want you gone. All of them." Arya stared at the stars through her ship's window. "We came to help," she whispered. "Why would they hate that?" No one had the answer. But far away, on a moon orbiting a red sun, 3 alien leaders met again. "The humans will leave eventually," one said. "And if they don't, then we will make them leave." The screen flickered. On Earth, a council watched the footage of the bombing. The president of Earth leaned forward. "We've done nothing but help," she said. "But if they keep hurting our people..." She left the sentence unfinished. Outside the window, the stars were still quiet, but something had changed. A small crack had opened in the galaxy's fragile peace, and Earth had just taken its first step into the storm. In the year 2437, the galaxy was peaceful. The Galactic Council on Celtar Prime handled all interstellar matters. Hundreds of alien races worked together, trading, exploring, and building the future. Among them, humans were strange, emotional, and curious, but not taken very seriously. Then came the signal. It started quietly, just a faint radio transmission from deep space. The Council's central receiver caught it. At first, it was ignored like many space noises, but the signal came again. And again, every hour, every day. It was short, only a few seconds long, and spoken in perfect galactic standard. "This is Earth's final warning. Prepare yourselves. We will not repeat this." No emotion, no explanation, just that one message. The Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from 52 worlds gathered in the tall glass halls of the Council Tower. Ambassador Drox, a large, slow-speaking creature from the Varnan species, addressed the room. "Let us be honest," Drox said, adjusting his translator collar. "Humans often exaggerate. Perhaps this is some kind of test, or joke." Laughter echoed across the chamber. "They always speak of danger. They love drama," said Chancellor Arvek of the Turai, a species known for their cold logic. "Let them have their warning," said another. "We'll survive." But one person wasn't laughing. Carrick, a young data analyst from the Selenary race, had been studying the signal carefully. He was not a council member, just a quiet mind behind a desk. But something about the message troubled him. It wasn't the words, it was the pattern. Carrick ran the signal through old language models and deep code analysis. Inside the message, beneath the voice, was a strange mathematical rhythm. It wasn't noise. It was a countdown. He rushed to show his findings to his superior. "This signal is not a message. It's a clock," Carrick explained. "It's counting down to something." His superior glanced at the data and shrugged. "You worry too much, Carrick. Humans are dramatic. It's probably nothing." But Carrick didn't stop. He kept listening to the signal. And one day, exactly at the predicted hour, the signal stopped. The silence was louder than the message. Carrick tried sending a reply to Earth, but nothing came back. No signal. No human ships on the border. No data movement. Nothing. Then the real fear began. The Council sent a long-range telescope scan to the Sol system, home of Earth. The report was strange. "There is nothing," the scan operator said. "What do you mean?" the Council demanded. "Exactly that. The Sol system is gone. The star, the planets, all of it. Just gone." Gasps filled the chamber. Some claimed it was a glitch. Others said it was a black hole. But the data was clear. Earth had vanished. Not exploded. Not destroyed. just disappeared. Carrick sat alone in his office that night, going through the last known human transmissions. He found an old Earth saying buried in their records, "We warned them, but they never listen until it's too late." He stared at the screen for hours. Something didn't feel right. Why warn the galaxy at all? Why say anything? Then his eyes caught something, a repeat in the signal waveform that didn't match the voice. He enhanced the audio, slowed it down, cleaned the static, and there it was. A whisper, almost hidden, layered beneath the message. "They are coming." Carrick's heart raced. Who? Who was coming? He presented this discovery to the council, but once again, they laughed. Whispers, hidden messages. "This is nonsense," said Chancellor Arvek. "Perhaps you need rest." But Carrick knew something bigger was happening. The humans didn't just disappear. They left, on purpose. And they left behind a warning no one took seriously. But it was too late now. That night, Carrick pointed the deep space scanner back at Sol's last coordinates. He expected to see nothing again. But instead, he saw something new. A single object remained, a metal plate, floating in space. It was perfectly rectangular, glowing with faint energy, untouched by gravity. The council sent a probe to retrieve it. On the plate, written in every known language, were 5 words. "We warned you. They're coming." They ascended. They became something more, something ready to survive what the galaxy could not. In the empty ruins of Celtar Prime, the once great council chamber stood in darkness. Broken chairs, dead screens, a building without purpose. But one being remained. Archivist Gila. Old, tired, and alone, she recorded her final message. "I was wrong. We all were. We believed power meant safety. We believed knowledge without wisdom was enough. But it wasn't. The humans begged us to prepare. We chose pride. Now, the stars are silent." She sent her message into deep space, knowing it might never be heard. Then she looked up and smiled. Above the sky, just past the clouds of her dying world, a faint light flickered. The gate. Still open. Still waiting. Far from Gila's planet, in a new realm beyond space, something else was happening. A new galaxy was being born. Lane stood among other changed beings, humans, Vorn, Voxari, and even some Tarai who had survived and chosen the path. They no longer needed ships. They traveled by thought. They shaped matter with will. They remembered what had been lost, but they were not trapped by it. Lane looked at Carrick, now fully part of this new form. Will the old galaxy recover? Carrick's glowing eyes dimmed for a moment. Maybe. In time. Life always finds a way. But it will never be the same. The silent armada erased more than planets. It erased ideas, greed, war, arrogance. This was the price. Lane asked the question she had held for so long. Why did the humans leave without fighting? Carrick turned to face the gate, still pulsing softly in the distance. Because they understood something deeper than war. You cannot fight the tide with swords. You must learn to rise above the water. He pointed beyond the gate. There is more. More than this galaxy. More than any of us imagined. And now we must guide others. Teach them. Help them rise. Not with weapons, but with wisdom. Lane nodded. The new galaxy would be different. No council. No rulers. No endless wars. Just beings, reborn, reconnected, working together to build something better. In time, others might find the gate. Others might learn the truth. That humanity had not abandoned them. They had simply gone ahead, like explorers lighting the path. The ones who warned the galaxy were the ones who saved its future. But only those who listened would ever understand. And that was the true price of ignoring humanity. Final message, as closing narration idea for your video. They mocked humanity. They ignored the warnings. And when the end came, Only those who followed their path survived. The rest, lost to silence. This was not the end of humanity. It was the beginning of something far greater. The sky above the Terrene colony turned black at noon. What began as a normal day, children in school, engineers repairing solar grids, and doctors treating the sick, ended in smoke, fire, and screams. The colony was called New Mercy, built by humans on Terrene land after the Great Sickness. It was a symbol of hope, a place where humans and Terrene lived side by side, where peace had a face. Then came the bombs. They were planted in underground power stations. When they exploded, half the colony vanished in a flash of white heat. Human medics, alien farmers, children, everything turned to ash. Survivors ran through burning streets, looking for loved ones, but there were too many bodies and too much silence. Captain Aria Lynn arrived 1 hour later. Her ship landed next to the remains of the school she helped build just 5 months ago. It was gone. Only melted walls and scorched books remained. A Terrene mother stood near the rubble, clutching the small doll. "My daughter," she said softly. She was reading when the ground exploded. Aria couldn't speak. She walked through the ashes. Her boots crunched over broken glass. Pieces of human uniforms, metal tags, and blackened datapads lay scattered. Then came the worst part, the recording. A small drone, used to document daily life, had survived the blast. It had captured the last minutes before the explosion. A teacher's voice echoed through the speaker. "All right, class, who can name the planets in this system?" Laughter, children's voices. Then, boom, the screen went black. Aria turned to her second-in-command. "Send it to Earth. They need to see this." The video spread fast. It played on every news network across human space. Millions watched in silence. No music, no narration. Just 30 seconds of life, and then death. Anger rose like fire. People protested in the streets. Others demanded all aid missions be stopped. A few even called for war. But the Earth Council stayed quiet. Too quiet. In a hidden chamber deep below Earth's surface, top leaders watched the footage again. The president looked tired. Her voice was flat. "They killed our children, after all we gave them." General Merrick, head of Earth's Defense Command, stood and said one word: "Enough." Days later, another blow came. Dr. Helena Miles, the lead scientist behind human gravity field medicine, disappeared while traveling to a diplomatic event on planet Vexor. Her last message was brief. "Landing now. They say we'll have dinner with the council tonight. I hope they like Earth chocolate." She never arrived. Her ship was found 2 weeks later, abandoned in space. No signs of battle. No wreckage. Just her coat, folded neatly on the pilot's seat. Another message appeared on Earth's secure network. "This is not failure. This is betrayal." The Galactic Union still sent no apology, no explanation, no justice. Captain Aria met again with the council. "New Mercy is gone. Dr. Miles is missing. Our ships are being sabotaged, and they continue to smile at us in meetings," she said. "We came to help, but they don't want our help. They want us gone." Someone in the room finally said it. "Maybe we should give them what they want." The words hung heavy in the air. That same night, in orbit above Mars, an old warship powered on for the first time in 50 years. Not for battle, but for evacuation. Project Lest Laigit moved from review to planning. Earth began collecting every piece of tech it had ever shared with the galaxy. Blueprints, machines, drones. They shut down open-source systems, pulled back trainers and diplomats. The Galactic Union noticed. A public message from the Union High Council was sent. "We value human friendship and hope Earth is not withdrawing from galactic society." But there was no warmth in their voices, no grief for the dead. Captain Aria replied through a live broadcast. Her face was hard. her voice steady. We gave everything. We asked for nothing. We built homes, healed diseases, cleaned your skies, and taught your children. And now we bury our own in your soil. The galaxy should understand one thing. We do not give warnings twice. Elsewhere, alien news stations spun their stories. Humans overreacting to accidents. Earth may be planning military dominance. A power shift is coming. And in private chambers of the jealous races, the smiles grew wider. But something else was growing too. Whispers among peaceful alien civilians. The Terrene mother who lost her daughter. The Volnari healer saved by Earth medicine. The young student from a jungle moon who learned how to read from a human. They didn't want the humans to leave. They feared what would happen if they did. But it was already too late. The stars above New Mercy were quiet again. And in the dust, a single burned human flag waved gently in the wind, torn but still standing.